Congratulations.
안녕하세요.
Hi.
급하게 우칼 선수 자리에 앉은 것 같아요. 혼이 나가 있는데요.
긴 경기였지만
It was indeed a very long series, but Dove, this was your first game as a starting mid laner in the KT roster, and you got 9 for 9 for that POG in game 1. How are you feeling?
일단은 올 시즌 첫 POG라 이거
I'm glad
기분이 좀 많이 좋았고
to get this first PUG of the
또
split,
이제 3세트까지 가긴
but the
했지만
game got extended
결국
down
이겨서
to game
POG
3. But I'm glad that we were able to close out the series and do this PUG interview.
찍으신 것 같고요. 이어서 도란 선수도
And Doran,
연패를 끊어냈잖아요.
KT roster was able to stop their losing streak. How are you feeling?
이거 참
I mean,
이겨서 다행이긴 한데.
it's a relief that we won, but
설날 전에
it was the last match before the New Year's holiday.
이겨서 좋은 것 같아요.
So I'm satisfied that we won.
너무 기죽지 마시고 잘했습니다.
You guys did well,
오늘도 특히 도란 선수
especially Doran.
헤어스타일이
You
달랐어요.
got a haircut, right?
헤어스타일에 이유가 있을까요? 네.
Why did you get a new hairstyle?
이게 저는 좀 원래 자르는 대로 잘려 했는데.
I just wanted to go to the usual barber, but I went to a new place
잘 어울린 거.
and they kind of recommended a new hairstyle. So I was like, okay.
이렇게 잘랐어요.
And then this is how it turned out. Do you like it?
저는 마음에 들어요.
Yeah, I like it.
선택인 것 같아요.
I think you really look good with that new hairstyle. But back to Dove.
많은 분들이 저희를 포함해서 정말 많은 분들이
A lot of people were really curious about you and Bonnie on the starting lineup, and then after winning game 1, actually Blank and Yukao subbed in. What was the reason behind that strategy?
딱히 그냥 저희 전략이겠죠. 저희
I mean,
말고는
just
딱히
that's
없는
part
것
of our strategy. That's all I can say.
짬이 있는 선수라 잘 피해가네요.
그리고 뭐 KT 입장에서는 확실한 카드가
And
생긴
KT
거니까요.
roster was able to kind of show that both of their roster actually have a huge potential. Let's go back to game number 1. Africa had a very unexpected picks coming out. We had Karthus jungle, Pantheon mid, and Lulu support. So how did the player kind of discuss before going on to the Rift?
나올 만하다고 생각을
We thought
저희가 하고
Karthus was
있었고,
very viable
그래가지고
at
그냥
that point.
뱀픽이 저희 생각대로 거의
So I think
흘러간
the draft
느낌이라서
went as we all
그런
expected,
상황
so we
잘
weren't
됐던
too
것 같아요.
surprised at all.
선수 앞을 내다보셨네요.
그러면 이제 미드 신드라와 미드 판테온.
So I want to ask you about the Syndra versus Pantheon matchup on the mid lane. I think Syndra does have an edge over Pantheon.
어떻게 생각하시나요, 동수 선수?
What do you think about that?
제가 원래 CS 차이 더 낼 수 있었는데
I could
첫 판에
accelerate
제가
the CS
빡
differential
긴장해가지고
even
잘할
harder,
수 있거든요.
but I got a little bit
다음에
nervous
또
because that was my
이쪽으로
first game.
더 잘해서
So if I get to play one more Syndra versus Pantheon matchup, I'm gonna show how I dominate the lane.
알겠습니다. 네, 그리고 3세트에는
In game 3, you guys actually target banned a lot of cards away from Dread, and also you guys banned out Lulu. And KT actually went back to kind of similar comp to game number 2. So what kind of feedback went back and forth after game 2?
네, 피드백이
About the feedback,
제가 너무 못해서.
I played so bad in that game.
한번 또 죽고.
I died on the mid lane, so
그거 좀 피드백 받은 거.
so that was the
개인적으로는
main feedback
미드에서
that
한번
we
다 같이
discussed.
있을 때 물려가지고
when we were grouped up on the mid lane. We actually got engaged, so we were talking about that.
그럼 도란 선수 나르 상대로 이렐리아를 꺼냈어요.
And you played Aurelia into Gnar, and we saw some funny face expression coming out from you when you were locking that in. And actually, Aurelia is 4-0 up against Gnar. So are you confident in that matchup, especially?
근데 이게 또 약간
I mean,
1세트 때
in game 1 and 2,
기인님이
Kiin
잘해가지고
did
저 약간 자신
play so well, so I lost all my confidence. But like my teammates and coaching staff like, play Aurelia, and I was like, okay. Was that Yuka?
기억이 잘 안 나.
I don't really remember.
저는 이제 마지막 경기에 들어가서
In the last
도부
game.
선수한테 여쭤보고 싶은 도부 선수는 안 뛰었기 때문에 도란 선수로 가겠습니다.
I have a question over to Doran. The game was going back and forth, and you know, we didn't know what to expect. So when was the moment that you guys knew that you're gonna close out the game.
생각한 적이 한 번도 없는데.
Never?
마지막 한타 끝나고
Maybe after the
넥서스
final
출발을
team
이겼다고
fight when we were
생각하고
rushing to the
단
enemy
한 번도
nexus,
이겼다고 생각을
but there was
못했어요.
no
끝까지
single moment and we had this confidence that we can win.
그러면 그래도 도브 선수도 이렇게
But still,
POG 가
Dove,
있는데
you got your
좀
first
이겨야
POG on your
인터뷰
first
할수
match
있잖아요.
on the starting
그래서
lineup.
어려웠을 것 같은데
I guess you were
어떠세요?
supporting your teammates watching the game, right?
그래가지고 제가 두 번째 판부터
Yeah,
나
since game 2,
POG 인데
I was like,
이거
oh,
제가 좀
I got the
이겼으면
POG. I
좋겠다.
hope
서로가
our team wins
이제
in
그래도
order
다 같이
to do
보는데
the
제가
interview.
POG 때문에 이기면 좋겠다 그냥 이러는 건 좀 너무
네네.
But you know,
개인주의인 것 같아서
I didn't want to actually look too like personal about this
그래서 그냥
victory because this is a team
팀으로서
game.
응원해줬는데
So I was supporting my teammates.
네, 현준이랑
I didn't want it to look too
마지막에
selfish, but in the end,
아,
Doran
이거
popped
아니야.
off, so I was able to do this POG interview. Doran's like, no way, no way.
그런데 간절한 마음이 통한 것 같습니다. 그런데 도란 선수 오늘은 조금 힘들어서
But
그렇다고
Doran,
했지만
even though you
도란
had
선수
some
오늘
rough
굉장히
time,
심해 보이기도 했는데
but you
도란
guys all
선수는
looked
항상
happy
경기
in
끝나고
the end,
있어도
especially
응원하고
Yuka.
있거든요.
But
이유가
Doran, you look
있을까요?
so kind of poised at the end of the game.
쫄길도 한번 따이고
I got solo killed once, I got like Dove, I made Q mistakes. I mean like,
저 때문에 너무 많이 이게
we almost lost because of
인터뷰하고
me.
있는 것도 너무
I don't really
그
think I
미안해서
deserve to do
너무-
this interview.
기인 형님이
I think
아니,
Kiin,
기인님이 좀
Like,
열불이 너무
would be
많이
super
나는데.
mad watching me
아,
doing this
그래도-
interview because
그래도-
he like one lane, you know?
근데 저 너무
But still, I mean like I played so bad.
신이
아,
별로 안 왔어요. 다행이라고
I wasn't too happy because I played so poorly. It was a relief, but I wasn't too satisfied.
해주고 싶은 말이 하나 있는데 지나간 일은
I wanna tell Doran that past is only past, and you have to keep pursuing for the future because you did perform really well. You know, don't feel small because we've done that before. We've been through that before, but don't get too like caught up on the mistakes that you made in the past. You can do this. Your next opponent and the final match opponent for the first round will be Damwon Kia, who are going to prepare for that match after the long holiday.
만약에 나오게 된다면
이기기
It's gonna be
어려울 것
tough.
같은데.
I don't think we can really
어려울
win.
것 같은데.
It's going to be super hard.
그래도 좀더
근데 막상 붙어보면
팬분들은
또 할만할
But still,
거예요,
maybe
그래도.
it can be winnable if we go like
네,
crash
할만할
together.
거예요.
알겠습니다.
자신감이
I'm
조금 떨어지네요.
losing a little bit of my confidence. But you guys took them down when you were in Challengers Korea.
아마 제가 백호였는데 그때도 거의 졌던 것 같아요.
No.
그러면 다시 한번 이렇게
Not true.
아프리카
I fell to them a lot.
서머에 이어졌던 그런 흐름을
But you guys were able to stop the losing streak up against the Africa Freaks that was continued from last year. So maybe you guys can make an upset. And Doran, how are we gonna prepare for that Damwon Kia series?
네 다음 경기 준비 잘 해서
We will do our best.
저도
And
개인 저는 좀잘
I mean,
그냥 저부터
I think I
가다듬고
have to tidy up my performance and prepare for that upcoming match.
만날 때는 조금 더 자신감 있는 모습으로
But still, a well-deserved victory going over to KT Roaster. And this is with the end of the interview with Dove Doran from KT Roaster and back to our casters. Thank you.